Señoritas y señores, bienvenidos a otro video para Español 1 y 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I am here at a taco joint. As you can see, it's light and airy, and the place looks pretty clean. You probably recognize this place. Tacos El Gavilan is the name of this place, and as you can see, I am here to eat some tacos. In fact, let me show them to you. Well, I would show them to you, but they were so delicious that, sorry. So right now, ahora es la 1:05. It's 1:05 p.m. And I was hoping that everybody would remember that we had a field trip today. But it looks like you guys forgot. So, too bad, because I was about to buy all of you tacos. Everybody's looking at me, filming this quick little video like I'm a weirdo. Haha, joke's on them. I already know I'm a weirdo. Friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a complicated world that we live in, you know? And so we do what we can out there on the daily. But I think we gotta take a pause and remember that there's some hardworking people out there, especially the people out here in the restaurant business. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, be nice to the people who serve you your food. Number one, you don't want anything in it, anything extra, if you know what I mean. But number two, man, these people are hustlers by nature. I'm telling you, it's the hardest job that anybody could ever have. Not only do you have to hustle out there in the kitchen, but also you have to do the customer service part of it, and there's some really unhappy people that come in through that door and immediately start just flying off the handle. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. So anytime you go out and about, anytime you're at a fast food joint, or even if you're going out to a proper like sit-down dinner, be nice to your waiters, be nice to the people who serve you your food, because again, it's one of the hardest jobs that anybody could ever have. And by the way, if you want to take your date out to go eat, don't forget, if you don't have money for tip, you don't have money to go out. Case closed. 15 to 20%, all right? Don't be cheapskates. You're also probably wondering about the music that's playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a lot of ranchera music, a lot of norteña music, a lot of music from Mexico. Not my cup of tea. I already told you that. I'm a rock and roll guy, as you guys know. But keep in mind, anytime you hear this type of music, it's the music of the people, especially people who come from other countries, in this case Mexico, to try to find a better life and to take the jobs that realistically nobody else wants, all right? Because again, there's some hard jobs out there that you and I would never dream of doing, but they're out there. And they're making us a better society because of it. Anyway, I mentioned the music because just like country music here in the United States, it's this type of music right over here is the country music of Mexico, and it's really blue-collar music. You know, you got the accordions and you got like the tubas and stuff like that, but a lot of the songs talk about, you know, being back at home, back in Mexico, being in the rancho, you know, being from like the countryside and working hard, and a lot of nostalgic themes as well, because keep in mind, I mean, a lot of people who come here from Mexico, for example, they go all over the United States to take jobs that we don't want, but they leave a lot of family behind. Sometimes, you know, married couples, they have to separate so that they can like try to find a way to survive, you know? And this is the soundtrack right here. This is the soundtrack of people trying to make it in this world. You're probably wondering to yourself, Señor Barbosa, what does this have to do with Español? What does this have to do with Spanish? It's got everything to do with Español. It's got everything to do with Spanish, because you see, it's through languages that we understand each other. And it may very well be that you would not go to a place like this. Maybe it's not your thing, you know, you'd rather go somewhere else. Maybe you might not normally associate with these hardworking people here on a daily basis. But again, I mean, like, it goes to the old saying, it goes back to the old saying, have you ever met somebody that was different than you just to find out that they're not, you know? And again, it's through languages that we try to understand each other. And see, that's the big thing. A lot of people here in the country that we live in, it's highly individualistic, and so we're very used to saying me, right? Or I. We're always thinking about ourselves first. But what if you took a pause, just take a moment, and try to see things from the other point of view. And you see, I mean, when you try to talk to other people in their language, holy smokes, I mean, the difference is night and day. I mean, they light up like Christmas trees. I'm telling you from experience, everybody. So yeah, in a place like Southern California, it's hard to avoid. I mean, Spanish is everywhere, you know? So like I said, thank you very much for taking the time to learn some Español. Thank you for taking La Clase de Español with your pal, Señor Barbosa. And I really do hope, it is my sincere hope, that it's through languages such as Español that we can understand each other a bit better. I hope it is useful and relevant for you in your daily life, and you can go out there and practice. So maybe next time I come back here, maybe I'll see you in line. Maybe I'll get to hear your beautiful Español, ordering en Español some delicious tacos from a place like this, Tacos El Gavilán. Sí se puede, okay? Sí se puede, no hay otra. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So my belly is full. I had some delicious tacos. Once again, this place is called Tacos El Gavilán. They're not paying me to say any good things about them. I'm just, you know, saying them out of my own opinion. They were quite delicious. I had dos tacos de pollo. But next time I'll be back and I'll have tacos de carne asada, de tripas, de buche, de sesos, de lengua. You know, pretty barbaric. Apologies, by the way. Apologies to all my veterinarian friends. But yeah, these tacos are damn delicious. So yeah, this is me out and about, out on the street. I gotta go home to my babies now because I was running a few errands for my wife. And but now it's probably time for me to head on back and see how Sam and Penny are doing. So go out there and enjoy some tacos, señoritas y señores, and thanks for watching this next YouTube video. I don't know where we are in the book. I don't know what lesson this is. I can't even remember if it's vocabulary, grammar. But again, gracias por ver estos videos. And let's get to the lesson. Here we go. ¿Qué onda, señoritas y señores? Ya vieron ustedes que yo me eché 3 tacos y estaban muy deliciosos y yo me quedé súper satisfecho. Ya no tengo hambre. Ahora, manos a la obra. It's time to go to work, señoritas y señores. So thank you very much for joining me here in my clase after hours so that I can teach you more Español. Vamos a empezar con los pronombres de objetos directos, aka DOPs, aka direct object pronouns in Spanish, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so if you are familiar with how to say him or her or it or us or you guys or them, all of that in Spanish, or in English I should say. In Spanish, it's the same approach. It is the same approach, so you can read all about it on Página 138. You can see the book version of it right over here. And we've already read this in class, or at least we should be able to read it in class if we haven't done so already. But right over here, I've got a PowerPoint that's going to kind of break it down for you. So let's get that going, shall we? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, direct object pronouns, and once again, I call them DOPs. They take the place of a direct object in a sentence. So more or less, it's like the subject of the sentence. And heads up, because sometimes the conversation will shift. It'll make a hard left. It's going to switch to different direct objects all the time. So you're going to have to keep on your toes to follow the conversation. All right. But let's break it down. All right. So pretend that you want a shirt. And instead of saying, I want that shirt, you can say, I want it. Because once again, it gets a little redundant. It gets a little repetitive. You just say the shirt, the shirt, the shirt, that shirt, the shirt, the shirt. No real need to do that, right? You can just say it, and people already know what you're talking about when you establish it in conversation, all right? So the word it takes the place of the word shirt. And that's more or less the mindset that you have to have when you're doing direct object pronouns in Spanish. Okay, so the DOPs in English, you've seen them before. There they are. All right. Again, all of these pronouns replace the names of person, places, or things that we are talking about. Now in Spanish, it's the same approach. The only thing is, though, you always have to be mindful of the number and gender of the person, place, or thing you're referring to, all right? Because, again, the singular, plural, masculine, feminine rules go into full effect, all right? As you can see, look at this. Me, if you're talking about me. Te, if we're talking about you. And then when you get to him or her or it, now you gotta kind of
take a half a second in your brain and say, okay, well, is the direct object singular? Is it plural? Is it masculine? Is it feminine? And you gotta do it like that. All right. So, but you gotta practice so you can get really good at it. I'm still practicing, and I've been learning Spanish all my life. Okay, so again, as a native English speaker, sometimes I still kind of get tripped up trying to always be conscious of the number and gender of the thing that I'm trying to talk about. It's a little challenging, but you got to practice. So there you go. Lo or la, those can mean either him or her or it. Nos, referring to us, and os, if you are in España, if you're talking to ustedes, but in Spain they would say os, okay? Los and las, referring to them or you guys. So that's why we don't use os in the United States or in our part of the world, because we already got that covered with los and las. That's what we use here in the Americas. All right, yeah, those right over there. Well, if you're writing these out in a sentence, where do they go in a Spanish sentence? Well, they are placed either before a conjugated verb or attached to the end of an infinitive. Okay, so you conjugate your verbs, it goes in front. And if you're going to use a verb in its A-R-E-R-I-R state, put it at the end. ¿Cuándo compraste la falda? When did you buy the skirt? La compré hace 5 días. Notice the placement of the DOP right over here. Compré is the preterite tense of the verb comprar. It's conjugated in the yo form preterite tense, and so that's where the DOP goes right over here. Again, la means it in this context, replacing la falda, so you don't have to keep repeating la falda all the time. Isabel, ¿tienes mi suéter? Do you have my sweater? No lo tengo. Once again, tengo, present tense of the verb tener. Lo, meaning it in this context, and it's representing a singular masculine item, el suéter. All right, so again, matchy goes into effect. If your object is singular and masculine, your direct object pronoun is singular and masculine. ¿Compras esos pantalones? Are you buying those pants? No los compro. Again, compro is the present tense of comprar, yo form, and right in front is the direct object pronoun los, representing los pantalones. Once again, los pantalones, masculine plural. You need a masculine plural DOP in this case to say it in Spanish, or them actually, because again, pants are plural. So los is the one that goes there logically. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, another example of it going before the verb. ¿Quieres comprar esa falda? Do you want to buy that skirt? Sí, la quiero comprar. There it is right there. Quiero, yo form, I want. La goes in front of it because the word quiero is conjugated present tense form of the verb querer. And after the infinitive, ¿quieres comprar esa falda? Sí, quiero comprarla. Yeah, so if you're going to use the verb querer, you conjugate querer, but then the verb after it stays in its infinitive. Quiero ir al baño. Quiero caminar en el parque. Quiero comer, In this case, quiero comprar. And if you're referring to la falda, quiero comprarla. And there it is right there attached at the end, because according to the rules, it goes at the end of an A-R-E-R-I-R infinitivo. And then one last thing, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you might have mixed groups of masculine nouns and feminine nouns. And when that happens, the masculine description is the default. So when the pronoun replaces both a masculine and a feminine direct object noun, we use los to describe all of them. So when it's a mixed group, it's going to be a masculine description. Cuando compraste la falda, feminine. Y el vestido, masculine. Okay, so what do you do there? What do you do? Well, again, the default setting is the masculine description, because just like if there are 25 girls and 3 boys in the class, you still say nosotros. It's kind of like that. So, los compré el sábado to cover all the bases with masculine and feminine mixed groups. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a quick look at DOPs. And so I hope with a little bit of practice in la clase de Español, you'll get this particular skill down. All right. Señoritas y señores, por favor, don't hate me. Because right about now is going to be the beginning of probably the toughest conjugations in your Spanish careers in high school. Yes, we are getting back to the preterite tense, but, preterite tense is difícil as it is. But guess what? Those that we've learned so far are regular preterite conjugations. And now it is time for us to take on irregular preterite conjugations. And a lot of you guys are not going to like it. And it's the reality is un poco difícil. Actually, what am I saying? Not un poco, muy difícil. Because in order for you to get these down, you're going to have to put them up here in your memoria. And there's a lot of them. So I hope you're up to the challenge, okay? All right, so check it out. This is all based on página 140. Let's take on the first two, which is going to be the irregular preterite forms of ir and ser. Ir means to go, ser means to be, and again, page 140 is where this is all based out of, so you can read what's in the book, and here is the PowerPoint that'll break it down for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so maybe you've seen the words fui and fuiste before. If I want to say I went, I would say yo fui, or just fui. You went, tú fuiste, or just fuiste. Again, that's the preterite conjugation of forms of ir and ser, by the way. Okay. So, but let's take one infinitive at a time. Let's focus on the verb ir first. Okay. So you're gonna see when you're conjugating ir in the preterite tense, don't worry about accent marks because there are none. All right. You're gonna have to memorize the conjugations. There's no other way. Okay, so however you do it, repetition, flashcards, staring at pictures, I don't know. And then ser is the same exact way. They share the same conjugations. Okay, so ir means to go, ser means to be. Oh, I thought I had some examples for ser, but that's okay. You know what? We can plow ahead. And they both are like this in the preterite tense. Yo fui, tú fuiste, usted, él, ella fue, nosotros fuimos. In Spain, they would say vosotros fuisteis, not commonly used around here. Ustedes, ellos, ellas fueron. All right. So you got a 2-for-1 deal right over here. Both ir and ser turn into fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron in the preterite tense. All right? Yeah. So how do you know when to use one or the other? Well, the context of the conversation is going to make it pretty clear. So, for example, if you want to say that Jose went to Barcelona, Jose fue a Barcelona. And and so that makes it pretty clear that he went somewhere. So that's a form of the verb ir. El viaje fue un desastre. Again, judging by the conversation, you don't actually go to a place called desastre. It probably was a disaster. And yeah, so that's the preterite of ser. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. And that's just the beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg, because there are more irregular preterite conjugations to follow that you have to memorize. So here goes nothing. Well, if you thought the preterite of ir and ser was difícil, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. Well, you haven't seen nothing yet because now we've got the preterite of hacer, tener, estar, poder, and on the house, I'm going to throw in dar. So let's get right to it. This is all based on página 142, page 142 in your libro. And yeah, these are all conjugations that you're going to have to memorize. So let's get right at it, señoritas y señores. Okay, well, along with these conjugations, let's recap what some of these mean in Spanish. So let's start with hacer, to make or to do. All right, there it is right over there. Poder, to be able to, you can, okay. Tener, to have. Estar, to be. And dar means to give, okay. And once again, this is all in the preterite tense, meaning this happened yesterday, this happened last week, this happened last month, this happened last year. And so we're not conjugating these in the present, this chapter. No sirree, Bob. And since the changes in the preterite tense are all irregular, again, just like the verbs ir and ser, you're gonna have to memorize everything. No accent marks. You guys ready? Here we go. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the verb hacer and memorize all these. Here we go. Yo hice. Tú hiciste. Usted, él, ella hizo. Nosotros hicimos. In Spain, they would say vosotros hicisteis, but I'm not gonna give you a quiz on that, okay? Ustedes, ellos, ellas hicieron. Memorize the spelling too, ladies and gentlemen. Memorize the spelling as well, most definitely. So once again, for hacer, hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicieron. Hice la tarea, hiciste la tarea, hizo la tarea, hicimos la tarea, hicieron la tarea. Poder. Poder, everyone. Yo pude. Tú pudiste. Usted, él, ella pudo. Nosotros pudimos. In Spain, they would say vosotros pudisteis. Not going to be used. Ustedes, ellos, ellas pudieron. All right. Yo pude ir al concierto. Tú pudiste ir al concierto. Usted, él, ella pudo ir al concierto. Nosotros pudimos ir al concierto. Ustedes, ellos, ellas pudieron ir al concierto. All right. Tener. Tener. All right. Yo tuve. Tú tuviste. Usted, él, ella tuvo. Nosotros tuvimos. Vosotros tuvisteis en España. Ustedes, ellos, ellas tuvieron. Yo tuve que ir a la escuela. Tú tuviste que ir a la escuela. Usted, él, ella tuvo que ir a la escuela. Nosotros tuvimos que ir a la escuela. Ustedes, ellos, ellas tuvieron que ir a la escuela. Estar. Preterite tense. Yo estuve, tú estuviste, usted, él, ella estuvo, nosotros estuvimos, vosotros estuvisteis, ustedes, ellos, ellas estuvieron. So, yo estuve en la biblioteca, tú estuviste en la biblioteca, usted, él, ella estuvo en la biblioteca, nosotros estuvimos en la biblioteca. Ustedes, ellos, ellas estuvieron en la biblioteca. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, dar, to give. Yo di, tú diste, usted, él, ella dio. Nosotros dimos, vosotros disteis en España. Ustedes, ellos, ellas dieron. Yo di dinero a mi mamá, tú diste dinero a tu papá. Usted, él, ella dio dinero a tu hermano. Nosotros dimos dinero a las chicas. Ustedes, ellos, ellas dieron dinero a sus amigos. Something like that. All right, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, the preterite verbs for hacer, poder, tener, estar, and dar son difíciles. Tienes que memorizar los cambios y también cómo se escribe. Yes, most definitely you're going to have to memorize the changes and, of course, how they are spelled. And that is going to do it. That is going to do it for this latest homework video. So, as always, señoritas y señores, muchísimas gracias for watching this one. And it's on to the next episode for, let's see, the next video is going to be for the next chapter, chapter 3b. So, I'll catch you then. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you en la clase de español. Adiós.